Well, hello there. We're recording YouTube. This is Mr. Gibson Guy. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever seen a picture from a camera manufacturer in one of their brochures or advertisements or something showing their line of photography equipment that they sell? And it's all piled up like this, and you think, man, what? Well, I saw many of those throughout my years of photography, and it always inspired me. I thought, one day, I'm just going to stack up a bunch of lenses and take a picture of it, or better yet, make a video of it. But there actually is a subject to this, and not just say, hey, look at all this black round stuff that we have here. It seems that one of the hottest topics on YouTube these days, as far as photography goes, is a lot of videos that guys are making and ladies are making. And they call themselves filmmakers. And the subject of their video is to take lenses from old still cameras and convert them into lenses that they can mount onto their mirrorless cameras or their various video cameras of all different types that are prevalent these days. And it's funny if you watch them and hear what they say. Basically, it kind of comes down to, well, the reason that we do this is mostly because the lenses on current day cameras are too good. So to be more analogish and more natural to the earth, or whatever it is that we're doing, we need to find some of these older lenses that have character and flaws in them, and that will change the way that our video is seen. Okay, well, if that's what it takes, and that's what it takes. I can kind of see kind of what your point is, kind of. And then the other point that they make out is, well, the other thing is that you can have 6 or 7 lenses that are vintage lenses, and you can do all the conversion to put them with your digital camera, and it'll cost less than one digital lens that's modern day. Okay, well, that's a good answer, good honest answer to it. Now, the other question that first came up with me is, how many filmmakers are there in the world today? And they're all going to win Academy Awards. How many people are there that do this, that are doing this? Because it seems to be quite a movement about vintage glass and using it on your digital camera. And then I thought, well, I know what it's all about. They're calling themselves filmmakers, which is ironic because it's one thing that's not involved is actual film, but they call themselves filmmakers, but what they are is videographers. And with YouTube and Rumble and all these platforms out there, there's got to be several million filmmakers who are videographers. And I'll be honest, I would be a videographer myself. I got my little Sony that I picked up at Walmart, and I've been using that, and I had a channel for 12 years, and I have whatever I have, 139, 140 videos, something like that right now. And while I'm on that subject, don't forget to like and subscribe. Well, I'm down to under 100 to go on my subscription rate, so please sign up. Doesn't cost you anything. Just click the subscription button. I appreciate it. But back to the subject. So, yeah, content creators are videographers, are filmmakers, I guess. I like to use my old tripod, put my camera on the tripod, and just turn it on with my finger and take off on. That's the whole movie right there. So it's pretty basic. But I might as well jump right in and join in the fun here. Now I got a bunch of lenses. I'm not going to use all of them. I just wanted to put them out so you can say, oh yeah, he's got some lenses, doesn't he? Yes, I do. But we're not going to use all of them. I'm going to move some out of the way. And I'm not converting any lenses of mine to go on a 4/3 camera or a mirrorless camera. Well, I do kind of have one, I guess, but that's not what it's all about. But I'm taking a look at what would be my kit. What if I was to start lining up these lenses? What would I start lining up? Where would I be? And so I'm going to give you my lenses from wide to narrow today and take a look at them. I was a Minolta photographer originally the first few years, and I switched over to Nikon, and I was a Nikon photographer for decades, still am, but just recently I started adding in some more Nikon lenses, NIKKOR lenses. I'm not showing you any cameras, but all the cameras over there, and there's got to be like 14 or 15 of them, they all have lenses on them. Not lenses that you see here. They're all ready to go anyway. This is like my overage here, not just the 50s that I put on the camera. But let me just kind of take this like it was some film creator, filmmaker, who's showing you their kit and what classic vintage lenses we use. I don't have the full kit in Nikon. I have most of it, but I have a few Canon lenses, and I'm not saying that I would mix them up and do this, although I could, but I'll show you something rather interesting that worked out as I have been picking up these lenses over the last 50 years. So I'll start at the beginning. Yes, that's this one. Okay, I'll take this off for this. A bunch of people are using 20 millimeters and sub 20 millimeter lenses, but I'll point out when they're putting them on your digital movie cameras, the focal length suddenly becomes a good deal larger. So you can commonly use a 20 millimeter on that, because it's like you're putting it on a 2-power converter anyway. All of a sudden it's a lot longer lens than it was originally on your 35 millimeter camera. So I'm not going to go into the 20s and the 19s and the 18s. I did have I think an 18 millimeter Sigma many years ago in Nikon mount, but I didn't really like what it did for me, for my photography, because everything was just far away and flat, and it just didn't look like anything that anybody wanted to see to me, so I didn't care for it. So I'm going to start my widest lens here with the NIKKOR 24 millimeter f2.8, and that's as wide as I need to go, and I'm going to just start with that. All right, so the next lens is going to have to be a 28 millimeter, and I happen to have one here. This is the 28 millimeter f2.8 by Canon. This is a Canon FD mount lens. And then, of course, after that, this is one of my first NIKKOR lenses many, many years ago. And these first two have been 2.8s. This is a NIKKOR 35 millimeter f2. And this has a big front element on it. I've had this lens 35, 40 years, something like that, long time. And I never really appreciated it very much until just a couple weeks ago, where I got it out and I was like comparing lenses. Looked through the viewfinder with this lens and then the other for a different video that I'm working on. But yes, I planned them, believe it or not. But this lens focuses down to like here. You can get so close to things, and though it's slightly wide angle, 35 millimeter, it does amazing work on macro photography, and the colors that come through this thing just blow away most other lenses. I'm talking about just looking through the viewfinder. 35 millimeter f2, and this is quite some lens. All right, so the next step that I would take would be my regular 50 millimeter. Yep, and I have this. I owned one of these many years ago, but it was pre-AI'd, and this one is not. This one is an AI lens. It's got the holes in there and everything. So this is the 50 millimeter f1.4 NIKKOR AI. All right, now after that, I'm going to go to, this is another lens of mine. Oh, we have a singer out on the street. How about that? Very nice. This, I got to tell you, this is the only piece of photographic gear that I have still, all these years later, that I originally bought new from the store. And this is the 85 millimeter f2 NIKKOR, and it's an AIS, I believe. Yeah, it's got the groove cut into it, so this is an AIS. I didn't have much AIS stuff, mostly AI, and a little bit of pre-AI. So 85 millimeter short telephoto, 85 millimeter f2. So I got the f2 and the 35, the f2 and the 85, and the 1.4 and the 50. And these are 2.8. All right, after the 85, I'm going to go with, bring in some other talent here. This happens to be, and this can be a good lens for this. This is the Canon FD 100 millimeter f4 macro lens, and I'll show you something on this. This is like, I didn't buy this outright. I bought a camera that came with a 50 millimeter lens and with this. That's how I got it. Look at that. I saw the pictures and I thought it was some kind of a zoom lens, but it's not. It's a fixed focus 100 millimeter, and it can really get close. They have also some sort of a close-up tube that you can put on the bottom of it and make it even longer, and then you can shoot 1:1 where your image on the film is the same size as the subject you are taking a picture of. You can get really close with that. But also, speed's not that great on it, being f4, but it makes a good, very nice portrait lens as well as a macro lens. All right, now I'm running out of room here. Got my kit, and I'm still not done. So we got Nikon, Canon, Nikon, Canon. Next up, we got up to a 100 millimeter, but we can go beyond that. So let me slip this in here. We're having to go to Canon again for this one. Let's see if I can take this filter off too. This is the Canon 135 millimeter. Yeah, let me do this. 135 millimeter f2.5, not f2.8. Canon had to be different there and go with something which they didn't have. So they made it just a little bit faster. And I think this is a coated one, but it doesn't say on it. And I was hoping it had the red brand, but it doesn't. And I picked this one up recently on Goodwill Finds for, I don't know, 35 bucks or something like that. And boy, this is one of the older ones, but boy, this is a really sturdy lens. I was never a big Canon fan, but I've been getting these Canon lenses lately, and I think they're really great. So I got the 135, slide this in here, you can see it, and then we're still not done. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me move this over here. 5, 6. 5, 6. And let's go with one more. We gotta go with a Nikon here. I got this one recently too. This is the Nikon AI auto-indexed 200mm f4, and this is a longer lens, but it's one which I think should be on the list. You don't need to stop at 135. Why not go all the way to 200? I'm not going with the 300 f2.8. That's really a specialty lens, kind of like a 16mm fisheye. Specialty lens, not something people really can use. What if I should have done this the opposite way? I got something else to show you on this now. So, one last thing. Alright, so we got them in order now. 24, 28, 35, 50, 85, 100, 135, and 200. How about that? Now, let's see, we have NIKKORS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Canons 1, 2, 3, 4. But wait, there's more. Take the lens cap off on this. Right in the middle, I had put this 50mm f1.4 NIKKOR, but that's not all I have, because I have a 50mm f1.4 Canon as well. So if I took this out and put this, then I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 Canons, right? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And Nikon's 1, 2, 3, 4. So the tiebreaker is the 50mm f1.4, of which I have both a Canon and a NIKKOR FD AI. So that's pretty much that. I would mention one other historical part, and I'll wind it up with this now that we've kind of looked through all these. And these are very good lenses, which you would see somebody who is making their kit would do it. But I'm missing a couple to make a full Canon kit, and I'm missing a couple to make a full Nikon kit. So, but it worked out that with only one duplication, I had the whole set with Nikon and Canon. But one of the reasons that I would be behind with that would be when I started out in photography, that was when these things were the new up-and-coming thing, and this is what photography was all going to, was a zoom lens. And so then it was, you don't need to buy a 28 and a 35 and a 50 and an 85 and a 100. You can just buy a zoom lens, or you can buy a short zoom and a long zoom, and you can have a lens. You can cover everything from 28 millimeters to 200 millimeters or 210 millimeters. If you have two zooms, it would mix and match to that. But the zooms were very popular, but there were some other things about zooms. They were heavy, they were complicated, they were more prone to having problems because of their more complicated helicoid system and their zoom system that they had to have. But that wasn't what really got the zooms. Why photographers didn't really warm up to the zooms that much was because when they were shooting prime lenses like these, and then they shot a picture with a zoom lens, and they went back and they looked at it, the zoom lens pictures were pretty crappy because they didn't come close to what the prime lenses were doing. So I've used that to commend all of the filmmakers that like using vintage lenses like these and build up their sets. Thanks for those good videos. I enjoy watching them, so I figured I'd make one myself. And that's all that I have. I have a few zooms, but notice that they all get pushed off to the side. They don't get to be featured in the vintage lenses. People are not taking old zooms, and not too much. Maybe one or two, like this Nikon 8200 f4.5 NIKKOR. This was when people started saying, oh, zooms can rival fixed focus length lenses. Didn't mean they could beat them, but they could rival them, and this was one of the lenses that was doing it. But that's my story for today, and well, I guess I better get back to filling in the missing spaces here for the Canon set and the Nikon set. Thank you for watching this video, and you can follow me on, you go to my channel and see plenty of other photo videos, and I hope you found this interesting and something that could be useful to you. So until next time, this is Mr. Gibson Guy, and I'm out of here.